Hi Mermaid Junkies! I just wanted to come on here. I hope you're doing well. And oh my gosh, I seem like I always have an excuse for why I haven't been online or shot any videos. We had a crisis at the house at the Staffordshire cottage. Basically, it was kind of like a life-threatening thing, actually. So I'm trying to make light of it, but it actually was a very, very like life or death thing. So that's why, you know, I was getting my bearings and my bearings. I'm so Southern sometimes. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, like, I think you guys remember, like, my subscribers that are completely like diehard fans know that I had said that I was going to do like Mermaid Junkie Tales, which is going to be kind of like my journey of like back to success, or to success as an entrepreneur that is a woman after 45, the age of 45, and you know, all of the different things. Because I think a lot of times we only see, like, this is something that's been on my mind, that's been racking my brain for the past couple of weeks, is that, like, I'm doing all the behind the scenes, you know, trying to recreate a website, like doing everything from scratch, basically, with a budget that is like non-existent, basically. And I think a lot of times the reason that I wanted to do this is because so often we as women, especially, because that's my target audience, which is women and girls, right? And obviously men are on it there too, but my main focus, obviously I've told you guys this a million times, is because my main focus is women, and I'm experiencing this and trying to start from the bottom up, basically. Okay, so anyway, you guys, sorry it was a phone call, and you know, guys, that I use my cell phone to actually cut all of my videos and edit and everything on my phone, which I've tried to make it really super easy. Like, I used to have all these programs, I used to have lighting kits and all this kind of stuff. And so actually, like, after my divorce, you know, obviously I don't have anything. I'm starting from scratch. So when I listen to people like Gary V, Vaynerchuk, I'm sure you guys should look him up. If you're like if you like the kind of person that's gonna, like, in your face tell it like it is. Why can't I talk today? And you like people to give you like strategy that's like very informative, and it's like lays it out like 1, 2, 3 step, which I'm very much like that. That's the way I like to receive information. But it's so funny because I don't give information like that. I'm such a run-on person. Like, I feel like I have to tell like an entire lifetime's events for just one little thing, where that, you know, there's a lot of other YouTubers and stuff that talk about spirituality, or talk about like mind, body, you know, what was I going to say? Mind, body, spirit, that kind of stuff. But I'm just a talker, and so I've never been able to, I've received that information and it penetrates me in that way, but I am not able, I'm trying to get that way, but I'm also, you know, not that kind of person. So I'm trying to accentuate the things that I find that are my positive aspects of myself. And I think there's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. Okay, so for that's one thing, is that, like, let me get back to the whole thing of, so when you're a woman and you're starting over and you're starting from scratch, I wanted to document the experiences, because there's so often that, like, I'm going around the cottage during the day, and, you know, I'm out feeding the chickens, or I think of something like really creative, and I just think that there's a particular process to success. You know, I mean, if we could go back and look at like maybe Oprah's success, or we could go back and look at Martha Stewart, and she had documented everything from like when she first became, you know, a caterer in her kitchen in where was it Massachusetts that she lived? Maine, Connecticut, I can't remember. Anyway, but my point is that if we would have seen her progression, because here is the falsified idea that most people have, is that people, you know, you can go out and look on Instagram, or you can see all of these different people that have like massive followings, or, you know, I'm not counting like celebrities, so to speak, because they kind of have their name and they have like a wide range of a public viewing. So that really helps them to catapult. Like for instance, Will Smith. I mean, he decides he's going to be a YouTuber now, and he's vlogging every day. But see, he automatically, like overnight, he had 1 million subscribers. Where I've been doing this, and I don't want you to think it sounds like, oh, I'm pissed or anything. No, what I'm saying is I'm trying to differentiate between somebody that's like a girl from Florida that, you know, is basically a nobody, you know what I mean? I'm up and coming, but that's a process. It's not like I'm Will Smith and automatically overnight you have 1 million subscribers on your vlogging, because, you know, a lot of celebrities are actually going to YouTube because they have such a freedom with their message and that kind of thing. But like, I've been doing this for 5 years, and like, you know, I have, you know, several thousand subscribers, you know, and so that's the difference, is that there's a wide span of you know, viewing audience. People are paying attention, unless you're going viral or something, you know. It's a process, is basically what I'm trying to say. Is when you see these people that, oh, well, they're just overnight success, or oh, they just came out of nowhere. It's like, no, I'm going to be here to represent that we don't just come out of nowhere. It's a long process. It takes a lot of hard work, especially behind the scenes, that no one sees. And so unless you have to be completely passionate and love what you're doing for your life's purpose, or else any sane person would freaking give up, because it's so hard. It's very difficult. And that, I mean, I'm even saying that because, and I live the law of attraction, but there's so many things that come easy for me. Like, say for instance, me and manifesting my soulmate, which it's different for everyone. Some people are easier to gain success, right? They don't have a bad belief system or previous negativity when it comes to maybe success in life, right? Whereas they might be an unbalanced person, and they're really super successful with love, or they're not successful with love, but they're really successful in business. Like, that's the whole thing of why I created Mermaid Junkie Academy, is because there's so many aspects to a human being. Like, and this is the thing that I really want to capitalize on, is that in order to be a balanced mermaid or a balanced person, you have to continually make sure that you are taking care of all of those different aspects of a person that you collectively are as a whole, right? Because so many times it's easy for us to pick out certain things about a person, like they're super successful there, but have you ever noticed if they're not balanced and they haven't been working on all of these different aspects of what makes up a beautiful, balanced human being, they could totally go full blown into success, but yet they neglect family, work. I mean, not family, work, but family, maybe even their health, you know, but they're super good at maybe being a housewife, but they're not really good with working out and taking care of their body physically and mentally. So that's what I'm saying, is that I wanted to be the representation, basically like the guinea pig for what makes a balanced woman, what helps us to keep on that momentum of working through the different things. And when I have something that comes up, like for instance, I have something that's really been weighing on my mind, and this is what it is that it's difficult for me. Now, see, not everybody has these issues, but I do. So I'm expressing my issues. And a lot of people don't want to talk about certain things that I'm willing to talk about, which is, for one thing, financial. You know, the second thing is like how it's difficult sometimes to not see other women on social media and they're really successful, or, you know, it's like, you know, they have a design degree, I have a design degree, I have a psychology degree, I have all these different things, but yet they're more successful than me, or whatever. And it's the comparison thing. And so if there's anything that I really want to share with you guys, is that what that experience is telling us when this is happening to us, right? Like when this is happening to me, basically it's me, and I gave some treasure trove tips on my Instagram and on my Facebook, is that I become less focused on my own thing, right? And this could be, you could not just say it's in business, but in life in general, is that we have to be women to stay for at least a while. I'm not saying that we have to do it for a long amount of time, but I learned this in this one particular, like webinar series. Like, it was like a workshop, like an entrepreneurial workshop that I went to. And it was from Brendan Burchard. Is it Burchard or Bruchard? Anyway, you guys probably know who he is. He's in the personal development field, as well as like Tony Robbins and stuff, right? And so I've always leaned towards these men, but I'm thinking, where are the women representing these balanced lifestyles, these successful lifestyles, besides Martha Stewart? I mean, but she's not in that personal development category or niche. Do you know what I mean? And so that's another reason that I was like, I want to have my blog, and I want it to be a well-rounded facet of all things that make up a beautiful mermaid. That's my metaphor for, and the methodology before, by trying to create this. Like, you can be a well-balanced woman. You can look pretty. You can have a good regimen. You can be healthy physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And in all these aspects, and it can filter out into your life as a balanced person. I mean, I was able to gain all of this knowledge and wisdom and intellect by continually, even when I had children, reading and taking courses, taking online classes, going to night school, and all that kind of stuff, and having a blog and everything. And so that's been the difficult thing for me. So that was another thing that I wanted to talk about, is like, it's really disheartening sometimes when, like, this weekend I was going, and I put out the positive stuff, because obviously, I mean, I want, there's certain people that watch certain things on certain platforms that I have. Not everyone watches every platform that I have, and I try to differentiate between each platform. Because what's one Facebook reader doesn't necessarily relate to an Instagram post, if that makes any sense. So that's another reason why I have my blog. But that's the difficulty, is that I was struggling this weekend because I was like thinking about all the different things that I still need to do to my website, which it's on Blogger, and I used to be on WordPress, which it's really hard because, like, I had a custom design. It was a beautiful website and everything. But regardless, it's like, if you don't have, you can have all the beautiful tools and the fancy shiny stuff, but if you don't have the internal stuff, you're not going to be successful. And that's the whole kind of aspect that I wanted you to look at as well, is that you can look pretty. I mean, this is the whole concept and metaphor of a mermaid. You can look pretty on the outside. You can look like you have all your shit together. Like, you have pretty hair and you're well groomed. You have cute clothes. Your makeup's put on nice. You get your nails done. You're in really super good shape or whatever. But have you ever noticed that there's sometimes that you see these people and then you realize it's like, yeah, but they're kind of shallow, really? Or, I mean, not thinking negative. I shouldn't say that being in a negative way. But what I'm saying is that the metaphor of a mermaid is that it's an all-encompassing thing. Like, there's so many levels and layers and elements to a beautiful, well-rounded person, if that makes any sense. So now that I'm going to skip all over the place, like, I'm totally a mermaid, and like shiny things to me are like, oh, I want to talk about personal development. Oh, I want to talk about, this is what totally irritated me this weekend about my business. Like, I spent the whole weekend working behind the scenes, like trying to fine tune my blog and things of that nature. And so if there's anything I want you to take, from this video, is, even though I ramble and go on and all these different aspects, is that for one thing, you might need to stay focused. Stop looking at so much social media. Maybe that would help. I mean, I say this to you because I'm saying it to myself as well. Like, I practice what I preach, is that maybe I necessarily stay more focused on just make sure I'm putting out content, valuable content every day on my social media outlets, but I'm keeping my head in the sand when it comes to focusing on my business. I don't have time to really focus on other people, because what happens is we get distracted and then we start feeling bad about ourselves, then we get anxiety, then we get depressed because we're not being able to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak, or that mermaid has more followings than me and that girl is more successful than me, and it becomes a polluted situation in our minds, right? As women, especially as women. The other thing to focus on is, now I lost my train of thought, you guys, is that just remember that where you are, and I'm trying to remember this about me, Raquel, where we are in our particular stage in life is beautiful and perfect, and it's exactly the way that it's supposed to be. Even though it doesn't fit the mold of exactly what everybody looks at, we only see things from our subjective perspective. So just because we see ourselves that way, like, oh, I'm not as far along successfully as this woman because I was busy raising kids for 25 years. You know what I mean? It's like you have to be able to figure out where you your positive attributes are and really hone in on those. So mine is, I'm really going to focus on the fact that I really did a supreme job in raising 4 children. Very, very well balanced, healthy, mentally, beautiful souls, right? And so I'm not regretting that I didn't have a successful business when my kids were younger, because I felt like when it came down to it, I had to choose. Now, that's what I want to do, is reverse engineer this, because I want to figure out, is there a way to do it all? You know, because I've always heard that you can't do it all at the same time. But can you? That's what I want to question. Is it possible to do it all and at the same time in a balanced form? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really, really interested in this. But anyway, so I'm going to use myself as an example, but I really wanted to come to you guys and like just encourage you and inspire you that if you are trying, like maybe you're working out, trying to figure out how you're going to leave a marriage, or maybe you're trying to figure out like, oh, I want to go back to work and start a career after my kids are older now, or oh, I want to become a fitness expert and I'm just now starting, or I want to be a yoga instructor and I'm just now starting. Like, I want us to be able to focus on what we are, what our strengths are, and really accentuate those strengths. And so, but I also want to be able to talk to you guys as friends, because you guys are literally my only friends, is that like understanding, it's difficult sometimes, but just know that we're all in this as a community together, and we're all going about it, in our different way, right? We're all swimming to different streams, but we're all collectively a shoal family, which means we're all like in this little pod together. And so I just really want to share my life with you, because I really think, I would love to look back on this and on you guys' lives, and see where we came from, like where we started, and remember this, because we won't a lot of times remember this stuff unless it's documented, And so anyway, I wanted to leave those things with you. I hope this served you, and I'm so happy to see you guys. I love you so much. And follow me on my social media outlets if you want to. You don't have to. But my blog is really going to become my hub, like the mothership of everything. Like, I have so much good content that's going to happen in the next 3 months that I'm so excited to share with you. But like I said, everything in due timing. And anyway, so I just wanted to leave these things with you. As always, I'm yours until my next swim. If you want to give a mermaid her fins, please subscribe to the button below, or follow me on all of my social media outlets. Thanks so much. Ciao. I love you. Bye.